Yeah, so I just played this crazy game on chess.com, and the computer analysis came in, but it's basically the same as this stockfish, and I can play around with this a little easier. So um, yeah, I had just beaten him a couple times, but he was fighting really hard in every game, and okay, yeah, it's like he started these openings out. I think it happened in other two games too, and then he played something weird. Like here, I don't think I've ever seen that. Like usually they just play a6 and they're in a Najdorf, and then all sorts of different things happen. But yeah, it's different here. Like in the Najdorf line, at least that I've read, that's good is so like if he plays a6, then it's something like this, where this is like the sharpest line you can play, and then usually continue something like this. I'm trying to remember what black's moves are. I don't know if he plays b5 first. Queen f3 is kind of an interesting move. It keeps an eye on this pawn. It keeps an eye on this knight. And if he does something like that looks tricky, like he brings the queen out to attack the knight, you can just castle long and protect it that way. So something like this maybe could happen. And yeah, I don't know what's correct after that. Like, it already says that black has an advantage, so I already did something wrong. But yeah, it's pretty sharp. But yeah, I don't think you usually are supposed to play like these Yugoslav attack lines for some reason. I haven't figured that out yet. But but yeah, he kind of encouraged me to play f3 because I got a tempo out of it. So it turns out I get two tempi out of it. And okay, that was, yeah, these were kind of all the correct moves, which is pretty cool. So up so far, I've done the right thing. Here, this wasn't the best. They wanted me to just play queen d2 and get castled as fast as possible. But whenever people in the Sicilian play these two little pawns out, I like to have the bishop on c4 because a lot of times the knight or the bishop can sacrifice on. Usually it's the bishop, sorry, sacrifice on e6. So okay, yeah. So they wanted me to start pushing h4 already. I kind of had the right ideas in this game, but I didn't always play them in the right order. But there's some pretty cool stuff coming up, like some stuff that I saw. So yeah, this is kind of interesting because I was thinking that I had to move this bishop back. I just did it instinctively because usually when I'm seeing this formation, the person's in a dragon, and if the person's in a dragon and it gets up to something like this, let's just say like I played some nothing move. Like if you're in a dragon, you can't play the queen to capture this because the dark square bishop's on this long diagonal. So this light square bishop is actually just hanging. But here I could have done that, so it wasn't really going to be hanging. So I guess I didn't have to move this back. Whoops. But I just kind of did it. I probably did it almost immediately. Okay, so anyway, yeah, another trick that's funny is like if you have this battery lined up and he is in the dragon, and you play the bishop up to get rid of this dark square bishop, he can actually capture this knight, and then you're in a problem because if you capture back with the queen, then he takes your bishop. So it's kind of tricky. But okay, anyway, so yeah, this knight was kind of annoying actually. I think this happens a lot in these Sicilians. Yeah, he's on this pawn, but I've got it protected for the knight, but he's going to be able to come in. Maybe this wasn't the best here. It's the second best move. Yeah, h4, just like the more pressuring moves. I think that was the idea, just like to be more aggressive. I actually hate playing king b1 because I just feel like it's kind of a waste of a move, but whenever I don't play king b1 in these Sicilian opposite sides castling, it just eventually happens, like 12 moves later, that he gets a check in on this diagonal. And I mean, I'm not saying like I lose my queen all the time, but it's usually like saves him, gets him out of trouble or something like that. So yeah, I just played it. But yeah, that let him come in and do this. This is kind of annoying. I didn't want to give up my light square bishop because I like it as a defender, and I still had these ideas on e6, so I gave up this bishop instead. So he takes it, and okay, it starts to get pretty interesting now. So now he finally plays a6, but it's a little bit slow. So yeah, this was correct. And then here, this was crazy. I mean, I could have played e5 here. I could play h5. I could play g5. And I played the third best one out of this. I mean, I wanted to start opening things up. I didn't. I looked at e5, but it just didn't feel right. I guess it is kind of good because It opens up the middle. I didn't see, like, the computer says that he has to give up the knight actually, which I didn't quite understand. Like, I don't. What's the problem with him playing this? I guess he can't take this. Oh, maybe I'm going to move the knight away, and then the bishop's going to be hanging, and the queen's behind the rook. Let's see if he takes this. Yeah, something like that. And then, yeah, this is terrible. Do I take the check first, or yeah, I guess so. Oh, so you give up a piece here, actually. Made in two. uh, this bishop's hanging. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I don't know. That gets really messy, but I didn't see that. And then the other interesting option was h5 here, and then I was thinking, but if he plays back, what is going on here? Then e5, and then something similar. Okay, so anyway, I guess you get something similar. But anyway, I played, oops. There we go. Okay, so I played this. It's still pretty crazy for him, so we get to the interesting part. So then there was different stuff here. I could have thought about the sacrifice right away, but anyway, I took this first, so I wanted to start opening things up. And this is pretty cool. Like, so I mean, I've seen the sacrifice before, and I like to play it like in other situations, but I didn't realize, like, here it's kind of interesting because if I play the sacrifice, then I keep a really nice advantage, and if I don't, it's almost equal. So it's kind of cool to see that after the game. But I actually saw that I was going to get this. I was actually going to be up in exchange here because after all this, he has to move the queen. I'm going to take this pawn with check, and then I'm going to take this rook. And I actually calculated this, that I was going to take the rook. But one thing I noticed, like, while the game was playing, that I didn't calculate was that, like, if I take the rook now, oops, then it's not as good because whatchamacallit. Well, one thing is, I guess he could take this. I mean, this is what I was looking at, but I guess that's not his best move, but that's actually what I was worried about. So they're saying he should play bishop f7 here. It's maybe that's to just keep the knight out of here. Well, I guess I played the right move for the wrong reason, so maybe it doesn't count. I thought I was really cool when I saw this. I mean, this is pretty cool that I saw this. I'm actually pretty happy about that. But while I was playing in the game, I actually saw that that it's better to play this check first because it keeps the king out of here, and on top of that, now after you take this rook, now he can't basically do anything because if he does something like this now, then I take this and it's checkmate. So it's kind of cool. So he saw that and he played bishop f7, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Now I guess I got a little relaxed. I started playing not the best moves here. I should have done better with this because he gets this pressure on c2. I mean, I kept thinking it's mate, but it's not mate because I mean, you can't, like, sometimes people get that checkmate in, like, after the check, and then you move in the corner, and then they get the back rank mate. But my rooks are still there, and even if I needed more support, I have the queen on the diagonal for now. I don't know why I was so worried about it, but yeah, I could have just taken this bishop, and the game would have been a heck of a lot easier. But in any case, yeah, I moved the queen back, and yeah, once you start playing passive, man, it's really it gets really crazy. So he gets this pressure. Oh, this was actually key that I play this too, because he's about to play this this bishop here, and I didn't want him to get even more of a tempo than he was getting. So again, it keeps the king out, and this king's just stuck in the center. So this plan that I had was a little too slow. Like, I was just pushing this pawn, but he gets this pressure, and now he does have a mate threat. So it was really tricky actually. I actually found this move. That's the best move. You get a tempo on the queen, and you block the diagonal at the same time. But then I was like, oh, wait a second. It gets a little tricky. So, okay, I found that move too. But yeah, once we got here, I didn't play the best move. What do they say on here? Oh, I just kept pushing the pawn, yeah. So yeah, he actually gets a piece out of it. And then I was like, oh man, I really screwed that up. But okay, play this check, and then I saw this kind of after I got more trouble. Sorry, I got more trouble first. When he made this move, I thought I was losing because he's got a mate threat here. Like even though the bishop's pinned, obviously it's still checkmate, and he's forking my rook here, and I was like, oh man, like what the heck. So I was lucky that I was kind of forced to play the best move because there's not really anything else. But yeah, this is it lets the rook defend b2, and I mean I saw that he was going to take with the rook here, but then while he was thinking, I came up with kind of a cool plan that turns out to be right. So yeah, he thought like over 5 minutes. I think he finally took that, and this is pretty cool. I was thinking about this like the whole time he was thinking, and I found this, which is actually the best move. It's an under promotion with check. I think it's like the first time. I don't think I've ever used an under promotion, at least not in a way where it was like it was the best idea. But yeah, the cool thing is the bishop can't take this because it's pinned, and it gets a check. And once this king moves, like right now, it's on a really annoying square because I can't check it. But once he moves, then I can give basically mate. So and I kind of saw. I didn't see the checkmate when I played the knight under promotion. I mean, I saw like that it was going to lead to some good things. At first, I was looking for the check over here on h6. Then he can block it with the bishop, and it's not so great. So because then like if I play here first, I was thinking like if he blocks with the bishop and then I play over here, then I don't know if yeah, he kind of like skedaddles out of this. He's got a defender and he'll pick up that knight. I end up giving the knight, but not in a way that's good for him. So it actually makes more sense to play this check first, which is cool. That's what I played in the game because now I can't block because I just take it. Yeah, he's got to play over here, and the knight still got the square. So now I'm going to give up the knight, which is kind of cool. I didn't. These are all mates. I guess it doesn't matter which rook you play over. There's probably one of them is more precise than the other for some odd reason. But yeah, this is kind of cool. So you give up the knight, and then you play this check, and I actually calculated this out because after all this happens, then you can give checkmate here. He actually resigned on this move, but people should let you give checkmate when you do something awesome. But yeah, the cool thing too is like this whole time, like, oh, I picked this rook because it was, vulnerable to some kind of crazy discovery where I was thinking like, if he ever got a chance to play like the rook over here, and then he's got three pieces on b2, and it's a discovered attack on the rook, so that would have been really terrible. So I had to actually really calculate this. So whenever I'm playing these 10-minute game blitz, I don't think I calculate anything. So these 15-10 games are good because they force you to calculate them. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then the other thing that I had to be careful about was when I played this rook over is that if for whatever reason I wasn't giving checks, then he had ideas of still the discoveries, but like if this hadn't worked as checkmate, because when I first started calculating, I saw that he could take this with the bishop, and then I was like, oh man, like can I not give checkmate because this knight is holding these check squares from the queen, and then I saw after a while that I could give the checkmate on with queen h6. It was kind of funny that it was hard to see that, but I was looking at all these checks over here and not over here. But yeah, I had to be careful because if for some reason I needed one move that wasn't a check, then he would have this queen f1 move, which was check and picking up my rook. So like this whole time everything's hanging by a thread, but it was kind of cool. So it was definitely like one of the funner games I've played in a while. I mean, when you get to play an under promotion that actually is right, and that cool combo in the beginning too, and then the mate at the end. So it was pretty sweet. But yeah, this guy, I mean, he was rated under me. I mean, like 100 points lower, but geez, I mean, like, I don't know, I felt like he was playing a lot better. I don't know if what this guy, he probably just doesn't play. Oh yeah, 9 games. Yeah, from a few years ago. Yeah, so I guess he just always plays standard. Does he play bullet? No. Yeah, he's a standard player. So I guess some people are just they just get really good at They're getting better at chess, right? So that's good. I should do that. But yeah, there's he's played plenty of games in this. So anyway, yeah, that was it was a fun game. So hopefully it was fun to look at. All right, I'll catch you later.